This is how Gemini 3 is playing chess against other advanced reasoning AI models, namely latest GPT and Claude, and the results of the games truly shocked me. In this video, I'm going to show you how I used just Gemini 3 to create the 3D chess game with just using Google Antigravity, and at the same time the very shocking insights that I got from reasoning capabilities of these models when they can play this complex chess game. So let's check it out. As you might already know, latest Google model, which is Gemini 3 Pro, is out, and so far based on all the evaluation metrics, it is beating all the similar advanced reasoning models, namely Gemini 2.5, which is the previous one, and also Claude Sonnet 4.5 and GPT 5.1. But these metrics are evaluating these models on a specific task. For example, this is for academic reasoning that Gemini 3 Pro, and also almost all the metrics is better compared to others. For visual reasoning, scientific knowledge, mathematics. So you can go through all this list that the same task has been given to the same models with different names here, and then they evaluate how they perform compared to each other. But the idea came to my mind that how I can let these models compete directly with each other on a task. And how about an advanced reasoning task? Then what is better than a complex game that models can be face to each other and compete, which is chess. Now, in order to apply this test to see which model performs better in advanced reasoning, I had to create this 3D chess game, but I didn't absolutely wanted to code all of that from scratch. So I ended up using Google Antigravity, which is the latest IDE, again released by Google for agentic development, so AI agents in parallel can run tasks for you. There is another dedicated video that I'm creating just about anti-gravity, so check out the next video coming in soon. But in this video, just wanted to give shout out to this IDE that I could just prompt this scenario, and these AI agents here created all this end-to-end 3D chess game for me. So stay tuned. Next video I will walk through on all details of how I created this using Google Antigravity IDE. And before getting to playing the game, I would say I'm absolutely shocked with the beauty of this design and Gemini 3 capabilities that created all these 3D chess game for me. So shout out to Gemini 3. You can see it perfectly went through the details of my prompt, which was asking about the texture of these chess pieces. Here you can see the reflection, you can beautifully see the chess field, the timers on the top, 60 minutes, that's what I asked. And if I scroll down, you can see some neural network backgrounds that are moving around, which was again based on all what I asked in the prompt. And you can see on the left and right side, I can choose the models. Here I can mainly select OpenAI GPT 5.5 and 5.1, Claude 4.5, and Gemini 3 Pro. So two of them are using my Vertex platform, but you can use your API directly. And then obviously for GPT, I'm using OpenAI. So all our credentials are provided. The backend has been configured for me. Again, there's a dedicated video I'm recording for that and releasing shortly. But here, this field is ready to choose your model and start see how these models are taking action. So let's give it a shot. Here I want to first start, let's say, with Claude compared to Gemini 3, and the only thing that I need to do is just clicking on start. So when there is a turn of a model here, for example, Claude is the white one, you can see that it is actually making a decision. These numbers are the coordinates within the chess field, and I prompt the models that provide their reasoning why they're making these decisions and what is their logic behind making that move. And whenever they are making the move, not only they consider the context of the chess field, where they are and what's the next potential move, also they have the history of all the moves of themselves and even the opponent within the game, so they have the context of full game and they can make decision for the next step. You might remember AlphaGo, which was the very first AI model that could beat the champion of this Asian Chinese game, which was a complex game, and it was truly mesmerizing to see the capabilities of AI that comes to this advanced layer. And here it is, we are performing that with chess. So far between AI models, but here in this video, I would love to welcome anyone who's a professional chess player and has won competitions. Please shoot me an email, and I would love to invite you for another video that you can now be the human-based player to compete with other AI models for having another session, which I think it would be absolutely amazing. So you can see they're making decisions right now, and to the time and respecting your time for watching this video, I already recorded an end-to-end game of Gemini with Claude and other models, and I will show you them shortly. This is the middle of the game that I previously recorded. You can see they're making decision on the right side, and I could literally understand some of them because I'm really not a professional chess player, but I could see they're developing a strategy and using naming conventions that are well known within chess game field. So if you are an advanced developer or you know this game, I'm pretty sure when you read this reasoning, you really enjoy that it talks in the language and make decision based on that. So let's actually increase all the way the speed. You can see that they just keep changing and they keep developing the history of the context of how they have performed so far. So they make the next decision and they're kicking out their chess pieces gradually, and we are getting to the point to see who's gonna be the winner. Here it is. I had to pause the video to show the moment that it announced the winner, which is black, and black is Gemini. But I have logged all these reasonings and movements and mistakes they have made potentially to show you the analytics and insights of how Gemini won. In order to evaluate the performance of a player in chess game, whether it's AI or even it's human, there are a variety of different ways, but the most well-known one, to the best of what I research, is based on algorithms called stockfish that let you actually analyze based on complex algorithms, and even AI that based on all possible moves that the player had and based on what the player decided, they start to actually score that. So there are different ratings of metrics, like let's say ELO, but this time for based on how they perform well in chess, to give you an insights on how you can compare that rating with someone's level. You can see that based on these scores, it starts with class F all the way to the top, that you can become more expert. So if you get a score more than 2,400, you're really international master or even grandmaster. So keep those numbers in mind when we go to see Gemini versus Claude results. Here's the interesting part of the game. So we calculated all those logs from the match and we are analyzing to see how they perform and how they use their reasoning capability. So we're using the Stockfish 16 as we discussed about the way that we can calculate the metrics. So Gemini 3 has been evaluated as an intermediate here based on that ELO ranking on chess. But again, this is called intermediate because it was playing against Claude, which was beginner. And this is the metric it got. But we haven't really challenged Gemini 3 yet to let it compete with much more advanced chess player like an AI model to see if Gemini 3 can show from itself a much more expert chess player, which we're gonna actually do that in this video. So stay tuned and watch the rest. So we go through the details. Total, we have 35 moves. Blunder, which is a very severe mistake in chess, Gemini just made 2 of them. Claude made 5 of them. And accuracy, Gemini was 99.5 accurate compared to Claude, which is around 79. Well, the accuracy, that means sometimes these models, they actually hallucinate, so they bypass the rule of chess game. Maybe they move a piece that they're not supposed to move, and it's against the rules. Gemini followed almost all of them with no hallucination, and Claude did a couple of mistakes, and if he had to retry and let the model that, hey, that's not the right decision, it's against the rule of chess, try to make another decision. And it happened, so that's why we have the metrics here as well. So you can see on average, again, the accuracy about best moves, blunders, all of them, Gemini outperformed Claude. Scrolling down here, I want to go a little bit of deep details of the analysis of the game. So both models actually, they have excellent opening preparation. Claude chose aggressive English attack. That's sort of a strategy. Again, I'm not really an expert on chess. If I make mistakes on explaining them or in my pronunciation, I apologize in advance. And Gemini responded with standard Najdorf. Again, I hope I pronounced it correctly. So the critical turning point was a speculative knight sacrifice that Gemini correctly captured. So Gemini found a great opportunity, and then it generated a new path of winning and to use that potential mistake that Claude has made, which was really the turning point for Gemini 3 to make a decision and move towards winning point. At the middle of the game, we had a little bit of collapse, so Gemini methodically traded pieces to simply into a winning endgame. And at the end, actually I saw that when I was recording, Gemini advanced a passy pawn to promotion. So after promoting that to queen, Gemini delivered checkmate with coordinates pieces and it won the game. Long story short, Gemini got much more better elo ranking. Again, for now, for this game, intermediate, but stay tuned for the shocking results. And then afterwards, both of them had excellent opening knowledge that they were performing well until the middle of the game, which suddenly Gemini flipped the solution. And then the key pattern is that Claude made some hallucination based on making decisions, but Gemini almost did no hallucinations for making decisions on moving forward with the path on the chess field. And this is the time to run the game again, but this time between Gemini and Gemini 3 Pro and GPT 5.1. See the same scenario. They're actually beating with each other, trying to make a decision within the path in the chess field, and we can see the reasoning printed on the left and right of the screen. So I will increase actually the speed of this game so we can quickly go through the results. It took around 36 minutes. We had them thinking, and what I captured is that as we progress through the game, the time that it takes for the models to make decision is higher, so that means the game becomes slower. It was actually very interesting that it is similar to human, that when we play this game also, when we go to the deeper side at the middle of the game, we have to think more to make a decision. And because the history of context of these models was getting larger and larger as they were playing the game, that way there were more tokens to be processed. So it was sort of a very interesting comparison with human, that the same thing, maybe we can consider that they are thinking to make a decision for the next move. Also, something to note is that Gemini never started any game, so it didn't have the privilege of choosing the first move in the chess field, but still you're gonna see the results. So let me a little bit slow down the speed of the game so you can see the actual results shortly. I scrolled a little bit high, increasing the speed. We are almost close to the end of the game, so let's see the results. Almost there. There you go. Again, black wins, which is Gemini. But let's check out the same analysis and insight that how Gemini performed and how GPT performed in this game. Here again, Gemini 3 got calculated as intermediate compared to GPT 5.1, which is beginner here. But again, Gemini 3 is still competing with GPT, and wait for the time that I have the surprise after this game. So you can see that GPT performed a little bit better compared to Claude because it has less number of mistakes, better accuracy, and better elo ranking. But again, Gemini 3 was the winner in this game as well. So scrolling down, I want to go to the main game narrative part. So both models here, they demonstrated excellent theoretical knowledge, which we didn't capture that in Claude. So they've had pretty good knowledge, and GPT chose to be aggressive within the attacking and scenarios that was defining at the beginning of the game. But at the middle of the game, there was a critical blunder or a big mistake that happened with GPT. It was a premature central thrust that Gemini correctly captured when GPT made that mistake. So Gemini was the one actually turning again the strategy to a winning point for itself. So at the middle of the game, Gemini methodically traded pieces to reach a winning endgame, and at the end, again, same thing here. It passed a G pawn all the way to promotion, and after creating a queen, it was able to do checkmate and win the game. In summary, both of them, they had solid opening preparation, but GPT's technical oversights were critical, which Gemini actually captured them and leveraged it for its own benefit. But both of them Well, specifically, both of them did some mistakes, but again, Gemini did no hallucinations. But again, GPT here claimed some moves, creating tactical threats or winning sequences that even didn't exist. So similar to Claude, GPT hallucinated technical justifications rather than verifying the board state. So Gemini consistently captured those mistakes and punished these errors, though it also missed faster wins in the game. So Gemini could win much faster, but for some reason it was delaying that winning point. Maybe that wasn't strategy or a shortcoming, I'm not sure honestly, but obviously GPT was the one making mistakes and Gemini capturing them and using for its own sake of benefits. But so far it was just Gemini 3 playing against other models, but I really wanted to see if Gemini could play as an expert in chess games, so I let Gemini 3 play against itself. So two models, the same models that has been trained identically with the same reasoning power and capabilities, how they gonna compete with each other and how they gonna win each other, how they defend, how they attack. So this is the game that I recorded, and you can see that same model is playing against each other. This was the one that took the most from the timing. I saw that it was a very complex game and they were just playing around, challenged to find a winning point. And for me, even when I was recording this and watching this and developing this demo, was absolutely entertaining. I hope you're really enjoying as you're watching this video. So let me increase a little bit the speed up. The game was very long. I really couldn't capture all of them, so I'm just going all the way down. And of course, Gemini won because both of them are Gemini, but you should see the results. And here's the big surprise. Gemini, the winner one compared to the one that defeated, which is again Gemini. Winner got the score, ELO score in chess game, 2,445. This is near expert. The grading that I showed you, that stands almost close to the top that can be compared against like international master chess players. I did that calculation multiple times that I make sure that I'm not making any mistake, but so far that seems to be what it is. So it didn't make any mistakes when it was playing against itself, and even the Gemini that lost the game didn't also make any mistake. It has 3 major blunders, that's why it lost the game, but the winner one just had 1 blunder, and both of them had almost around 90 and 96% accuracy, which is amazing. Check this out. Unlike other matches that we just discussed, this one, the game is started with Italian game opening. So you could see that the strategy is totally different because the best model is competing against itself, so everything has been changed. Both sides developed naturally with symmetrical pawn structures. The opening was relatively balanced, with both Gemini showing solid positional understanding. Great. At the middle of the game, the black Gemini gradually outplayed a white one with superior piece coordination. So there was a critical moment in the game at move 36, a very minor inaccuracy with one of the Gemini models suddenly triggered other Gemini model to make a clear advantage. So just one small mistake with one Gemini, the other Gemini took it and started capturing the winning point. So from there, with another blunder, white moved the rook, so after that blunder, black had the forced checkmate sequence. So it was keep following that as I saw to finally do the checkmate, and it happened at move 52. And finally, this part, I would say this is really the juice of my experimentation. It took me a long time to prepare this demo and develop all of that, but I think it's really worth it just because of this. The match revealed Gemini's massive performance variance, because we saw that in some other matches. Maybe the opponent is not so strong, so it doesn't need to show an expert chess player from itself, so it was okay to act like an intermediate. But suddenly now we have this ELO ranking of 2000 or something that is approaching expert or master level. But at the same time, same Gemini, which got defeated, showed this ranking. So this 1000-ish point gap is extraordinary. And black Gemini, which played nearly perfect chess with only 21.5 average centipound loss. Again, this is another metric, for evaluating chess players, and with this accuracy, this is among the best performance we have seen from any AI model in all these tests, obviously. Why Gemini, however, struggled and made critical errors? Maybe because its opponent was another Gemini, so he had no choice to maybe get defeated, right? And here's the key insight. The same model, which we have Gemini here, widely performed with different results based on position and color. That suggests Gemini may have superior pattern recognition when defending or counter-attacking as black versus when required to generate threats. That means how Gemini has been trained, or however it's biased or it's performing, it's much better or superior in defending than potentially attacking or generating threats. The model appears more comfortable consolidating advantages than creating them from scratch. That's a hint for me that when we do evaluation, like when we do LLM as a judge, we have to be cautious about the fact that how these models has been trained, they might have some biases in their patterns, so they might behave differently, even when they're competing or being compared against the same model or each other. So we have to be cautious, making sure we truly understand the nature of how these models are biased towards what, and then take it for our own advantages, use cases for further evaluation. We just truly discovered, of course we cannot say discovered because it was just a couple of matches, that has to be through iterative process, do much more advanced research, but just hypothetically, if we can consider that, we are really revealing a sort of a biased capability or preference within a model. We didn't just hit this simple test, which was chess game. In this experiment, we mainly used AI models to compete in chess, but here, I would love to in this video welcome and invite anyone who is mastering chess and won competitions and is willing to get volunteered to compete with AI models in this app for the next video. I would love to have that, so shoot me an email and let's discuss, and we are potentially going to have another session from using human versus Gemini 3, which is the champion of AI models right now in our test for playing advanced chess. I hope you found this video helpful. If yes, I would be very thankful if you like icon and make sure you share your thoughts, questions in comment section below. If you want to have access to the source code of this chess game and all the codes of this experimentation, write in the comment section. I will certainly share that out. And subscribe so you won't miss the next video, which is gonna be about Google Antigravity that I used to create this 3D chess game without any coding from my side. So you will see in action how I did it. Stay tuned and see you in the next one.